When Red Bull launched, the energy drink market didn't even exist. Research showed it wouldn't be successful. Still, the founders fought to win over consumers and health officials. Today, Red Bull is known as being a multi-billion-dollar empire. The story starts with a duck farmer who discovered that laborers and blue-collar workers needed a quick energy boost. Welcome to Hook. On August 17th of 1923, Chaleo Yoodvihya was born in Phuket, Thailand. His parents were poor Chinese immigrants who raised ducks and sold fruit to make a living. Chaleo didn't have much of an education, so he had helped his parents before moving to Bangkok. He worked at his brother's chemist shop and then as a bus driver and pharmaceutical salesman. Eventually, he started his own manufacturing company called TC Pharmaceutical Industries and made antibiotics. Through these experiences, he made a discovery that changed the course of his life, an energy tonic drink. Filled with vitamins and extra caffeine, it was popular amongst truck drivers, farmers, factory workers who worked long hours and needed an energy boost. At the time, there was only some no-name mixtures and one Japanese brand called Lipovitan D on the market. It made its way to Thailand when Japanese workers moved to oversee operations at their factories. Described as having a medicinal flavor, Chaleo came up with the idea of making a sweeter version that would appeal to locals. In 1976, he launched his own berry-flavored drink called Krating Dang, meaning red water buffalo in Thai. He promoted Krating as a drink that would improve endurance, concentration, and speed, and priced it at around 30 cents US. While unpopular in the beginning, Krating's sales beat every competitor except for Lipovitan within just 1 year. Later on, it ended up having the largest market share. Krating's early success can be credited towards Chaleo's unconventional way of doing things. He came up with the vision for Krating's logo: a sun to represent energy, 2 bulls to represent a powerful animal, and red to represent perseverance. He also came up with this strategy of targeting laborers and blue-collar workers instead of Bangkok's elite, an unusual strategy at the time. Early advertisements showed pictures of laborers relaxing on a wooden platform in a rural area, downing the drink from tumbler glasses. To promote Krating, he sponsored high-profile Muay Thai champions and boxing events, creating an association between the drink and Thailand's beloved sport. In the 1980s, he started to sell Krating internationally, first in Singapore and then later in Hong Kong. The expansion turned Thailand into one of Asia's Tiger Club economies. Meanwhile, Dietrich Mateschitz just discovered Krating while on a business trip in Thailand. He found one glass cured his jet lag and was hooked. Like Chaleo, he had an unconventional way of doing things. He was born on May 20th of 1944 in the St. Marine village in Austria. His family was mostly conservative, full of officers, priests, and teachers. Rather than attend a university close to home in Graz, he convinced his mother to let him study ship construction in Vienna. It was the only program that wasn't available in Graz and his only opportunity to move to Vienna. He ended up changing universities many times and settled on studying commerce at the Vienna University of Economics and Business. It took him 10 years to receive his degree. He was enjoying life in Vienna and his job as a ski instructor, so he didn't rush to finish university. After graduating, he ended up working for Blendex, a German toothpaste company, and became their international marketing director. While he got to travel all around the world, he was getting bored with his job. All I could see was the same gray aeroplanes, the same gray suits, the same gray faces. I asked myself whether I wanted to spend the next decade as I spent the previous one. It wasn't until 10 years later into the job that he made a discovery that changed the course of his life. During his trip to Hong Kong, he read a newspaper that highlighted Lipovitan was Japan's biggest taxpayer. At that moment, he decided to quit his job and track down Chaleo. He wanted to start a company and market Krating in Europe. There was nothing like it in the West. He met with Chaleo in Bangkok and made his proposal. Chaleo was skeptical at first, but he managed to convince him. Both of them invested $500,000 and took 49% ownership. The remaining 2% went to Chaleo's son, Chaleo. For the next 3 years, Dietrich analyzed the market and worked on the concept and design. When he hired a research firm to test the product, the result was a catastrophe. Trial groups said the drink tasted disgusting and left a sticky feeling in their mouth. People didn't believe the taste, the logo, the brand. I'd never before experienced such a disaster. Convinced that they were wrong, he moved forward with setting up offices in Austria and started working on distributing the product. It was then that he discovered they would face even more obstacles. He needed to get approval from the ministries of health in most European countries since most of the product's ingredients hadn't been used in anything else on the market. Finally, in 1987, Austria's Ministry of Health granted its approval. That same year, the product launched with a new look, taste, and name: Red Bull. Dietrich replaced the medicine bottles with eye-catching silver and blue aluminum cans and carbonated the drink to appeal to Europeans. But the research firm's results proved not to be completely wrong. People were skeptical. The first few years were difficult. I sometimes had to put my own money in to shore up the company. Chaleo and Dietrich invented the energy drink category with Red Bull, so it would take time to win people over. That's when Dietrich decided to follow one of Chaleo's strategies and combine business with his passion: extreme sports. He promoted Red Bull by sponsoring high-profile athletes in mountain biking, snowboarding, paragliding, and hang gliding competitions. Gerhard Berger, an Austrian Formula One racing driver, was the first athlete sponsored by Red Bull. Dietrich claims he survived on the drink. His strategy worked, and Red Bull took off. But it wasn't long until the company faced even more obstacles. A few weeks into their launch in Germany, they ran out of cans. We had no idea that there could be a bottleneck in aluminum cans around the world. We needed 1 million cans a day, but we simply couldn't get a single can extra and ran out. When they launched in the UK, they faced stiff competition. Locals overlooked Red Bull since they grew up drinking Lucozade. It was a carbonated orange-flavored drink that was first promoted as a sickness remedy and then later as an energy drink. Things changed when snowboarders and clubbers started drinking Red Bull at raves. Eventually, it became a mixer and was mainly sold in bars and clubs. While Dietrich was disappointed that some used Red Bull as just a mixer, he continued to target young partygoers, adventure seekers, and extreme sports enthusiasts. He paid students to throw Red Bull parties and drive around in minis and Beetles with a can strapped on top. He also continued to sponsor wacky competitions like the Red Bull Flug Tag, where contestants attempt to fly homemade gliders. We don't bring the product to the people, we bring the people to the product. We make it available, and those who love our style come to us. Dietrich turned the laborer and blue-collar drink into a premium lifestyle product, the opposite of what Chaleo did with creating. After launching in the US, Red Bull sold its billionth can and became a billion-dollar company. Chaleo became Thailand's third richest man, and coincidentally, Dietrich became Austria's third richest man. This is the story of how it all began with the drink that created its own market. Which part did you find inspiring? Let us know in the comments below.
Red Bull gives you wings.